Awesome. Do we post this?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Pod Save Chocolate. My name is Clay Gordon. I'm your host. And today we are being joined by people who are involved with organizing and people who are going to be participating in the upcoming Salon du Chocolat in New York City, which is this coming weekend. Before we begin, I want to say thank you to everyone for being a supporter and member of The Chocolate Life, because this episode of Pod Save Chocolate, like every episode, is sponsored by the members of The Chocolate Life. And we'll go to the post on The Chocolate Life a little bit later. What I want to do is I want to welcome everybody to be here today with me. And man, we have a crowded screen. Hello, everybody. And I just want to say thank you very much for being here. Right. I also want to let everybody know we've been having occasional technical glitches. It happens when you've got a lot of people who are calling in from a lot of different places, and we are going to do our best to make sure that we get through this episode and we give everybody an opportunity to chat during the day. But I do want to begin with we got all sorts of people here. I want to begin with, I want to let everybody know that this is the greatest number of people I have ever had participate in an episode of Pod Save Chocolate. And it's just like a little overwhelming to me, and we'll figure it out as we go along, and we'll make it all work. But with all due respect, thank you all for being here, and for everybody who's watching. I apologize for what appears to be the chaos, but let's get started on today's episode. So the Salon du Chocolat is the oldest and one of the largest chocolate festivals in the United States. I've been around for more than 20. Well, what was the first one? 1996 or something like that?
1994.
1994.
First one,
I was
1998 was the first one here in the U.S.
So I was at the first one in the United States in 1998 because it was at the Puck Building in New York City. I remember it very much. But so Viviane, why don't you give us a really quick introduction to the festival this year, and then what we'll do is we'll go and talk one by one to all of the other people who are here, what you plan to do, what your role is, what's exciting to you about this festival in particular. All right. So Viviane, why don't you give us a head start?
Yeah, so I'm with Salon du Chocolat New York. Very excited to be on our second year back to New York. I'm with Messe Frankfurt. We organize trade shows, so very excited with Salon du Chocolat back in New York for the second year in a row. It had a little hiatus, as you guys can see. It started back in 1998 and went very strong. I think Laura Tornichio was a big part of that at the first years. We've been back this year, back at, it's going to be at new venue, so Center 415, right on 5th Avenue. We have a lot of new things coming in, plus things that the show are known for. So we have our fashion showcase with Vanessa here at this podcast. Can talk a little bit more about one of the dresses. She is making one of the dresses. So very excited about that. We also have Hakan coming back with the sculpture. So he's also here. We have a new space this year, which is our Taste and Learn, that it's dedicated for a more intimate space. About like 60 to 70 people will be seated, but we still have like space for standing people. That's going to be for education as well as pairing, tasting. A couple of the people that are here, I see Santiago with chocolate in the bottle, Laura, and Mona. They will be doing some presentation at the area with following tasting. Very excited about the new venue allowing sales of alcohol. Chocolate in the bottle will be able to not only sample but sell on site. So that's a new thing for this year. That was a big thing that made us move to a new location, that it has more flexibility. We have great kids area, very good exhibitors this year, more exhibitors than last year. A lot of countries are presenting that we didn't have last year, and different like coffee, ice cream, spices, honey, like a little bit different products that combine well with chocolate.
So Viviane, if I can jump in here really quickly. Number one, Hakan, can you hear me? Because
Now I can, yes.
Okay, great. So again, we're still dealing with some technicals. So there's a lot of information, and what I want to do is I want to. So not only are there a lot of people on screen who've got a lot to say, but there's a lot of information to go and share. So I want to point everybody to the Salon du Chocolat New York City website. This is the website live. You can see it now, and I want to point everybody to this link up here, which is called The Experience, and then we have two experiences: the Culinary Theater and Taste and Learn.
Can anyone
And so
hear
what
Clay?
I
I cannot.
Okay.
I can hear Clay. Yes,
I cannot.
I can hear you.
I can hear
Okay.
you. I can see the screen. I cannot hear Clay.
All right. So, Mona, I know that you've been in and out of this several times. I mean, Laura, I don't know if you can hear me and you can
Want
talk.
to let Clay know that we can. Anyone hear Clay?
Okay, you
Well,
can talk, but I don't.
can't.
But I don't hear. But I don't hear Laura. Mona, I'm not entirely sure what it is that is going on here. But I suppose.
Well, when he calls on me, someone tell me.
Yes. All right. So Viviani, right? If I call on Mona and she can't hear me, I'm going to say, Viviana, would you please call on Laura to make it work? Right. Again, everybody, this is the most people I've had in the room at one time. And it's, I'm not entirely sure what it is that's going on. I can have up to 10, and we have 8 plus 1, which is 9. So we're right at the limit. Okay. But having said that, what I want to talk with each one of you in turn, and I'll start with Charles because you're
So
on the
I'm
top
going to go
row.
out and come back in and see if I can hear him. I cannot hear him.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. So Viviani, when Laura comes back in, could you go into the chat and ask her that if she can chat her future?
I've been chatting. I don't know if she's seen it. So
yeah, no.
I will answer your question, and I can probably talk to her via my phone if I need to.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, everybody. So Charles. Charles,
hi Clay, you're doing great. Circus master.
Just trying to make it work. All right. So Charles, we're gonna talk with you first.
And then I lost him.
Okay. So Charles, please explain to everybody who you are, what part of the
it's amazing. I can
what
hear
part of the total overall experience that you're involved with, and what it is that you're planning to do. And again, for you as a chef, this is your second year participating.
Yes.
What is your excitement level, and why is it that you're interested in participating in the festival this year?
Well, thanks, Clay. Like you, my first experience with Salon was an attendee, and I was just blown away with the fun, the expertise, of course, the chocolate. So I had an opportunity to come back last year. I teach at Pennsylvania College of Technology, so I teach baking and confectionery. And I was on the demo stage last year and was really impressed with the organization and just the whole experience. So I'll be back again on the stage this year on Saturday, and I'm going to be doing a hand panning. A lot of people were very interested in being able to replicate and do what I did last year. So I wanted to bring something to the stage that will be fun, that will be educational. Panning is this very mysterious, equipment-driven process in the professional world. But one of my mentors taught me how to hand pan hazelnuts and almonds and things like that. So I thought it would be fun to bring that to Salon in New York City. And then I'll also be involved in the afternoon. I'll be assisting Laura with the bonbons and horse racing taste and learn schedule. So it's going to be an action-packed Saturday for me.
It sounds great. So again, what I want to impress upon everybody, and we're going to make everybody look really, really tiny here, right, is that if you go to the website, there you click on the experience. There are 2 experiences: the Culinary Theater and the Taste and Learn schedule. And so what it is that you're doing, Charles, is in the Culinary Theater area. Is that correct?
Both. I'll be in the Culinary Theater. Yes, I'll be doing both. I'll be in the Culinary Theater in the morning doing the hand panning demonstration. There'll be some samples. And then I will be in the Taste and Learn section in the afternoon with Laura for the bonbons and horse racing experience.
Great. And Viviane, for people who have never been at the festival before, once you buy a general admission ticket, I mean, is the ability to sit in on any of the Taste and Learn sections or any of the Culinary Theater, is there an additional charge, or is that
No
just something?
additional charge. Sorry, no additional charge. You buy your general ticket that allows you to go to all the places, visit all the exhibitors, and participate. It's a first come, first serve for seating area. We will definitely, if people are coming in and we have space available in the areas for standing, that's definitely fine. But yes, no additional ticket needed.
That's
And
great
you
to
can
know.
purchase the tickets. If you haven't purchased yet, you can purchase the tickets. I know Clay already posted the website. You can get on the website.
Yeah, so if you go to thechocolatelife.com right now, is for everybody. So if you go to the post, this is the homepage of the Chocolate Life. But if you go to the post on the Chocolate Life, there is a ticket purchasing link, which is down here. You Salon du Chocolat, buy tickets, and there's a user promo code that gives you a discount if you want to participate that way. So I want to go next to Chef Greeley. So Chef, can you hear me?
Yes,
Right.
can you hear me?
Great. And I know you've got somebody with you. So why don't you explain who you are, what your business is, and what you're doing that's different from everybody else who's here with us today?
Sure thing. Well, first of all, thank you for having us on the podcast. This is really exciting. And I'm also excited to be here with my partner in crime. She's Carolina Gonzalez, Carolina Lara. She's not just a sugar artist, but she's also a fashion designer. So I'm very lucky to have her, not just as a friend, but also as part of my team. I've been doing this since 1998, which was the first chocolate show in New York. And how I started was I was going to French Culinary Institute, and then through the institute, I got to volunteer to the show. And you know, just like before, I was so excited and just blown away by the whole organization and the whole concept of making a dress. So I volunteered for 2 years. Behind the scenes, I got to see how everything worked. And then finally, I summoned all the all this energy to come up and tell the event coordinators, hey, you know what, I can do that. And so 1998 was my first chocolate dress, and it was quite exciting. And then through those years, we met, we met each other. We actually used to travel around the country doing cake shows, competing together, competing against each other. And we became really good friends also with Silvina Barbosa, who is not here today, but she's also part of my team. And yeah, so I've been doing this since 1998. Super exciting. I think that every year we either come up with our own design, but this year I decided to partner up with local talent in Warwick. I live in beautiful Warwick, New York, and I decided to partner up with Finn, who is a young teenager. He's an illustrator, and he's the one doing our design today. And so Carolina is actually working on the canvas, if you will, for our dress, because it's important to have some sort of a canvas so that we can attach all kinds of edible, and yummy stuff to the dress. You wanna?
So
Yeah.
if I can, before Carolina jumps in, I think there are two questions. Number one is there's a theme this year, which has to do with the 250th anniversary celebration of the United States. I think number one, is that correct, Viviane? I think there's a theme this year. Number one. And then number two, there are some really, really specific challenges associated with putting chocolate, which has a tendency not to bend or not to want to bend, right, on a surface that wants to be bendy, right, wants to be flexible and follow curves and as you're moving around. So if you can, Carolina, can you talk about how you plan to address the theme? And number two, for people who may never have seen something like this, what are some of the specific challenges associated? Well, we're not doing runways here, I think, so that makes it a little bit easier, but you still have to get the dress onto a form and all these other kinds of things to make it visible. So what are some of those challenges for people?
Well, I think for us, before Carolina jumps in with all those details, for us, the challenge really is to be able to interpret the designer's, design, because first of all he has to put what is in his head on paper, and then we need to be able to interpret that with edible materials. And so we've been lucky that Finn has been able to come and join us, and we've been like brainstorming with him. Sometimes we have to compromise because, as you well said, sugar, chocolate, it doesn't bend, doesn't stretch. So we had to introduce him to all these mediums so he can understand what we can and cannot do. And this is also part of the challenge for Carolina. You want to talk about it?
Yes. Hi, my name is Carolina Lara. I'm also from Pennsylvania, so we're representing here. As a fashion designer, they teach us all these techniques on how to do things, but when you're putting edible product, it's very challenging because, like you said, it's sometimes, you want something to bend and chocolate doesn't bend. It's not bendy. So we got to find different ways to be able to interpret that design, in this case, what Finn wanted, and be able to find different ways, which is kind of hard for someone who likes to do pattern making, for example, because you're very used to doing things in one way to create this effect. And that's where I have to kind of compromise and kind of like make it work.
The struggle is real.
Yeah, the struggle is real. Like, luckily this year we don't have anything walking on the runway, which kind of makes it a little easier. But even still, those bendy things, like, there's a contour of the body that you can't really do flat, and you have to make those contours work, and you have to find ingredients that will help you be able to accomplish that.
Right. So this year we're not only just incorporating chocolate, but we were allowed to incorporate other mediums like sugar, also, but obviously chocolate is the main focus, right? And so Silvina Rabosa, who's not here, she's a sugar artist and she specializes in sugar. She actually made a crown, which is part of our design, all in isomalt. So the challenge there is for us to be able to transport it, because I live in Warwick and we're right now in my Warwick studio, and it's going to take us a couple of hours to get into the city. So wish us luck, and we're hoping, praying that it all makes it in one single piece.
Yes, this
Well, I know if I talk about, so if I can, I know in particular, I think, Laura, you've been involved in the World Pastry Forum and the National and World Pastry Team Championships. And unfortunately, we may be having an audio problem. So I'm sorry about that. But the whole idea of having a sugar piece and even moving it from the work table to a buffet table, which is 4 feet away, is often a huge challenge.
Yes.
And the idea of transferring it from Warwick, New York in one piece to Manhattan is another challenge that needs to be dealt with. The main thing that I want to impress on to people here who may be watching this, who are going to be at the salon this weekend, is that when you look at the dresses, right, as Vanessa and Carolina said, there is much more behind getting them so that you can enjoy looking at them and marvel at what it is that's going on, even if they're not, going to be eaten. There's an enormous amount of not only skill but struggle and challenges which are entirely invisible. And so I everybody, they're going to be there. Last year, you could walk around them, so you could see them from all sides. You can get up close and take a look. And I think it's just a really, really fabulous experience for everybody to do that. But I want to go from one kind of 3D interpretation of chocolate to another and welcome Håkan Martinsson to the stage. Håkan, how are you today?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm glad that audio is working in both directions. So I've known Håkan since like forever in New York City. My daughter used to work for Håkan for a while when he was operating the Fika coffee shops in Manhattan. And Håkan, as a medium for sculpture, right? So you're going to be doing this sort of live. People can walk around, interact with you for the entire 2 days. And so without letting the cat out of the bag, I mean, I assume you have a 250th anniversary theme for this year for what is you're sculpting, not a dragon or a bear or something, I'm guessing, right? But what are the specific, are there specific kinds of chocolates that you use? What are the challenges associated with making something that might be 2 or 3 or 6 or 7 feet tall and might weigh, 35, 40, 50 kilos? And it's chocolate, and if somebody came up and broke off something, would they be able to eat it when they got done? So tell us about sculpting in chocolate and what you plan to do this year?
It is just chocolate. There is nothing in it. Yeah, so it's funny how I've known you, Clay, since 2009 when I arrived in Manhattan from Sweden. Now I'm located in Beacon, New York, so I have a little traveling to do as well. But I'm doing the main pieces here as you're very limited to sculpt live once you're at the show. You don't have any machines or anything like that. You have your tools, your knives, and so on. I was thinking a lot about this theme with 250 years and how I could do it, because people who know me know what kind of stuff I do. I do dragons, I do trolls, I do the gnomes, and so on. For me, it's also there's a tweak to that, because when you're at the show, what's interesting for people, but also what limits your risk of something. If you're doing something that looks exactly like something, then your chance of doing something really wrong becomes very obvious very fast. So I usually do something live. I don't do buildings, for example, because it has to be very, very straight. Otherwise, you'll have the Tower of Pisa all of a sudden. It's like it's very tricky to do certain things. I also don't want to do anything that's very obvious, like a symbol for America, in my opinion, is the eagle, of course. So I went with a bull. So you're not far from, because I was between a bull and a bear, Clay. A bull for me is you have all the songs, you have the buffalo soldier, you have a lot of things that, in my opinion, as a Swede, represents America. It's strength, and there has been a lot of types of bulls and buffaloes through the years. So I want to create something in my style, so it's more of a bust of a bull, but it's more of the 2026 and forward kind of version, where it has a bit of steampunk and metallic art to it. So I'm taking something that's
for people who may not be familiar, familiar with New York City, is when you go downtown into the financial district, right down there north of right around where Wall Street is, there is this very famous statue of a bull. Right. So is that being a model for what it is you're doing, Hakan, or not?
It is. It was what I had in mind, actually, because one of my shops was actually around the corner from it. At
oh, that's right.
So I walked by that one year after year after year. It's a bullish strength. So I think that is what America is all about. So I'm gonna do a version of that, and they asked me if it could be even bigger this year. So I am going larger and heavier, which is also tricky when you do it live and you don't have any backup system.
It represents its own set of challenges. What if I can, just really quickly, for people who are watching, whether it's in LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, you can go into the live chat or the comments on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can let us know where in the world you're connecting from. And if you have a question for any of the people who are on screen right now, I know they're really tiny, right? And maybe difficult to see, but you can throw that question or the comment into the chat, and I will get that question up on screen, right? And so, because we might have a technical challenge, Charles, are you ready to bring Laura on stage and see if we can get her audio working?
Yeah, we're going to give it a try.
Okay, so what's happening here is we're going to try to bring in Laura on speakerphone so that she can hear me and we can hear her. Laura, how are you?
How are you? I'm great, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Okay. We can hear you, but what's going on is
You've got
there's
to
a
kill
little
the
bit of
mute.
delay. Yeah. So if you can kill your computer audio, Laura, how are we doing now? Now, she probably can't hear me now, Charles. So she's going to have to turn her computer audio back on. So Laura, we have a delay.
Can you guys hear me?
We have an amazing delay. What I want you to do, Laura, is I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to let you just talk about what it is that you're doing. And when you get done, you're going to wave at me, okay? Great. So.
Okay, here we go. Sorry to be over the phone like this, but thank you. Thank you for having me, Clay. It is so exciting to be a part of this year's show. And how's the echo? Is it okay?
We'll deal with it.
Okay. I'm going to mute my computer, right, and see if that improves it. Okay, so this year, to celebrate America's 250 as part of the Taste and Learn, I'm bringing back an event that I produced for the historic 150th Kentucky Derby. And I did it in partnership and with support of Charles Niedermeyer. He'll be supporting me again here at Salon du Chocolat. And so it was a couple years ago, it's the 150th anniversary of the Kentucky Derby, which is one of the most iconic sports events in America. And what I did is created a bonbon tasting with a timeline on a map showing specific moments in time, very impactful in the history of the Derby, and each of those moments was represented by a bonbon. So we're going to bring some of those bonbons to the show and tell the story, and also let people enjoy a piece of American history. And I think that's it for now. You have any other questions? Let me know.
Great. So, Laura, watch the chat. All right. Yeah. So turn the audio back on. Watch the chat, and if I have a question, I'll put it in the chat for you, and you can respond. Okay. That sounds great. And if you need to call Charles in order to make it happen, we'll do that. All right.
So it's hard to see the comments.
But from a sort of thematic perspective, one of the things that the Kentucky Derby is known for is mint juleps. It is also known for things associated with bourbon more generally. And so let's do the sidewise move into Santiago. Santiago, you're with Chocolate in a Bottle. Can you tell us what it is that you're going to be doing? I understand there's going to be at least one tasting, but how are you organizing? How are you thinking about selecting the chocolate to go with what it is that you plan to be presenting? And this will be on your booth. You are an exhibitor, so that people can come by and do these tastings live during the course of the entire salon. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you, Clay, for having me here. I'm very excited about being able to share what Chocolate in a Bottle is for the first time in the United States. Just to give you a little idea of who we are, the idea behind Chocolate in a Bottle is very simple, straightforward. You know, we took the elegance of sparkling wine and we blended it with the flavors of chocolate. So we created something that is a completely new experience for people. You know, every time that they pass by, they taste it, and they have that wow moment, you know? So what makes it special is because we're blending two worlds together, the world of wine and that luxury with the taste of chocolate and you know, that flavor that can come out of it. And it's not even strong, it's only 6.5% alcohol. So I'm very excited to be able to be in the United States. We landed in the United States only a couple of years ago. Now we have 9. Now with New York it's 10, but we have 10 distributors in the United States. We have a website where we sell the bottles, and we're going to be able to for the first time show it live at a fair. So yes, we're going to have our booth. We're going to have tastings. We're going to have pairing suggestions. But we're also going to be in the Taste and Learn. We're going to be there at 12 if I'm not mistaken, Viviana. I think it's 12th Saturday. So we're going to be doing taste and learn. In order to pair it with the chocolates, for this occasion, we've actually chosen a partner of ours who we work with in other fairs worldwide. We've been in many Salon du Chocolat. We've been in Paris, in Lyon, Shanghai, Lima, in Peru. And now we're going to be here in we're going to be in the taste and learn. We're going to be doing a lot of activations. We're going to be doing raffles, giving out discounts. But most importantly is the taste. We want people to taste it because it's something very unique. And we think that for the American palate, it's going to be something very, very interesting to try.
No, absolutely. One of the things for people who are watching this at any particular point is I've been doing pairings with chocolate and beverages for 2 decades now. And one of the things that I understand is that that many people think that it's red wine and dark chocolate. That's what goes together. And what's really, really important to understand is that for me anyway, is that that's the sort of received wisdom. It's like, red wine and beef, white wine and fish, right? It limits your understanding. My favorite pairings of chocolate are with sparkling beverages, whether it is a lightly sparkling Riesling, or which Washington State has a number of great examples of, or it is an Italian Prosecco, I think is a fabulous combination for lots of chocolates. I've done many tastings of them, or even many kinds of beer. People go, chocolate and beer, how does that all work? Right. But there are wonderful, lots of different styles of beers. And if I can really quickly come back to you, Santiago, what was the most significant challenge in incorporating the flavor of a chocolate into a sparkling beverage rather than putting them side by side? Because I'm sort of curious about that.
Well, actually, that's a great question, which has a really, I would say, difficult answer. What we have done is blend a French 100% Blanc de Blanc, Chardonnay mostly, wine with the flavors of hazelnut and chocolate. Now, we got to be very, very, very clear about this. We're not getting chocolate inside the wine. We're using the ingredients to make chocolate. Chocolate in a bottle is an ideal. It's an experience. The whole experience is to actually taste the bubbles of the wine and also the hazelnut and the cacao flavor behind it. So what we have done is use the ingredients, the cacao, the hazelnut, the sugar, everything that goes into making a chocolate. And this was created by Tom de Bruyne, who's a Belgian national. He invented it about 12 years ago. And his whole idea was to bring the best of two worlds into one single place. The best wine in the world, it could be considered French. The best chocolate in the world, it could be considered Belgian. That's the idea of there you go. So for a Belgian guy, between French and Belgium, that's why he wanted to create chocolate in a bottle.
Yeah, I understand it, and of course it's a joke. But for anybody, so for people who don't know my background, one of the things I contributed is I have worked on spirits and connecting spirits and chocolate together and trying to put that experience in one bottle. The technical challenge is associated with doing that, right? Chocolate has fat in it, for example, and what does that do to bubble structure, and how does it interfere with, fermentation and other things, and how do the flavors blend? It's just a really, really interesting problem to solve. And so just from that, I encourage everybody to go take a look go take a taste, right? And understand how it all works for you.
It's going to be very interesting for people because the structure of the wine, it's not changing. The color will be like any other champagne, Prosecco, Cava. The bubble will be light, will be there. We have 3 to 4 bar in our bottles. but the aroma, the taste, it is going to be absolutely different from what they have done. So we have actually modified the wine without modifying the structure of a sparkling wine. And that's, I believe, it's our secret. It's the reason why we're the only ones in the world actually making it.
It's a real technical challenge. I want to understand. And for anybody who didn't get the reference, a bar refers to barometric pressure, and it's atmospheric pressure. So 3 bar is 3 times atmospheric pressure. So anybody wants to know. So it does talk about how big the bubbles are, how tight the bubbles are, what happens when you take the cork out of the bottle, all kinds of things that are associated with that. I want to know, Mona, can you hear me?
I can now. I couldn't for a little while. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's great. So what I want to do is I want to go and say, one of the wonderful things about my doing this and my being a part of this festival, I was, at the Salon last year. We had this preview episode last year for it, and there's a link to my writing about the festival or about the Salon last year that people can go to when they go to the post on the Chocolate Life. I'll show you that as well. But the fact is, I've known Laura since the first Salon in New York City, roughly 1998. I haven't known Charles quite so long. I've known, Hakan for, 15, 17 years now. And another old and good friend, new friends, Vanessa, Carolina, and Santiago, new friends, yay, right? But also Mona is someone that I've known for quite some time. And one of the things that people don't know about Mona and what it is that she has been doing with her company, Amore di Mona, is that they are one of the first, if not the first company, right, to, make their own chocolate from liquor, and then to be able to do, allergen-free, organic, all the kinds of things that people seem to be looking for, right? But they did it before anybody else was really doing it in the United States. So we're looking at, like Santiago, we're looking at another like chocolate in a bottle. We're looking at another true innovator in what it is that goes on. So Mona, I remember like New York City 2015 at a chocolate festival. That's probably where we met for the first time. But tell us about the origin of Amore di Mona and what it is that you're going to be bringing in terms of your background and your approach that to the Salon this year.
So thank you, Clay. Always, it's a joy to be with you. And as you said, we're known for having only and always been a chocolate maker that provides chocolates that are 100% plant-based, gluten, and common allergen free. And additionally, as Clay mentioned, in order to offer a chocolate qualitatively with all these attributes, we had to look differently at how to actually make chocolate. So we make chocolate with agave nectar, and we blend it with cocoa mass and other cocoa solids. And it's a process that we were able to develop with the help of a chemist, of course, to have it solidify and emulsify, with the end results being the chocolate that we make today. Additionally, we started a couple of years ago a reformulation with maple syrup, which is a completely different process because of the crystallization differences between maple syrup and agave. Agave is very hydrophilic, which makes it far easier to also create confections. Like we have a vegan, what we call caramella, that's just our chocolate with cooked agave nectar and some ground Hovedal bean. It's very silky and has the impression of having milk in it when it doesn't. So myself, as the genesis of the company, being a sufferer of certain allergies, that was, of course, necessity is the mother of invention situation that got me to begin to develop what we have. And I also worked in high tech for 21 years, where I learned there that there was only one gift you could give to anyone in the world safely without them being offended, and that was dark chocolate. So that was also an influence on the decisions that we made early on what were we going to provide. And of course, today now in the United States, there are those that say we're looking at 70% of the population with chronic illness we're looking at 1 in 13 children anticipated to have an anaphylactic event before they're 15 years old, predominantly due to food allergens, but there are others also. So we like being part of the solution to that circumstance. It gives us great joy to be able to give in this way. So at Salon du Chocolat, speaking of the children, we're going to be at 1 o'clock on Saturday in the children's area. We've started to develop a new offering with superfoods. We'd heard about some children are thinking about having superpowers as children to be more effective in life as they grow. And so we thought that would be a fun combination to teach them how they can use ingredients that are qualitatively very high, nutrient density wise, like acacia, camu, kale, right? And actually put those in chocolate in a bark that they would enjoy, as well as we'll also be making truffles with them with maple syrup that's been cooked and whipped. So we'll make truffles and chocolate bark with superfoods so that they can have superpowers eating their superfoods. So that should be a lot of fun, hopefully.
No, Mona, it is going to be a lot of fun. And I just, again, for people who are watching who may not be aware, you may have heard that if you put a little bit of water into chocolate, it will seize and it will become impossible to work with after that point. Not even good for sculpting, I'm guessing. I can't seize chocolate, no good whatsoever. Right. However, what if you, if you add a lot of water to it, if you add a lot of liquid to it, you can overcome the hydrophobia and you can mix it into a ganache or something like that. But to be able to take a chocolate liquor, right, and then add to it a liquid, right, which is also a sweetener at the same time. So you're doing two things at once with it, but in the kinds of quantities that are necessary in order to be able to give you the texture and be able to temper it is a huge, huge challenge. And so I think it's really, really cool that you've done that. Now, also, just for everybody else who's done it. And by the way, I have tasted almost everything that Mona has done in the last year or so. The Mignardi's collection is wonderful. Nobody else is selling chocolate, so I haven't. So I hope I'm not saying anything out of school here. But even people, you hand these to people who may not have allergies. You may hand them to people who may say they don't like dark chocolate, but things in the Mignardi's collection, people will go, yum, yum, yum. I can say that particularly. And then we have, right above Santiago, the chocolate in a bottle, what it is that you're doing, Mona, what it is you're doing, technically just really, really challenging to do. And so I encourage people to go and taste these things and understand that we all think about chocolate, it's a done deal. And, is it a ganache or is it a caramel or is it something else? And is it pipeable or is it, all those things are things we all know, but there is room for innovation. There is room for doing new things in chocolate. And when you go to the salon this year, you have two exhibitors who are examples of those things. And one other thing that people may want to know, Mona, I was able to get my kids to eat broccoli, right, when they were 7 or 8 or 9. And what I would do is I would toss it in olive oil and salt and then roast it in an oven. And then what I would do is I would make chocolate sauces, right? So it would like a sauce which might be like a hoisin sauce, right? But it had cocoa powder in it. And so I got my kids to eat broccoli and to eat other vegetables, eat kale. If kale were a thing back then, I would have been able to get it to do it by spreading a chocolate sauce on top of it for them. Not a sweet one, but a savory one, vinegary one. Anyway, just to let people know, you can get kids to eat things they normally wouldn't eat by putting chocolate on top of it. So again, anybody who is watching today, please go into the comments. If you have a question, let us know where in the world where it is you're connecting from. I'll get the question up on screen and shout out on screen. But while we're here, we're getting down towards the last little bit. Is there anything that anybody else wants to say about what we're doing as we wrap up the hour here? And then we'll let Viviani close things out for everybody today. So who said yes?
Us.
Okay. Sorry,
The Latin
I'm
crowd
sitting here.
here.
I'm sitting here paying, trying to pay attention to everybody, and it's not great. So, Vanessa and Carolina,
So,
what have you got going?
yeah, first of all, thanks again for having us. This is an amazing opportunity to spread the word and the fun. We wanted to especially thank Valrhona, because Valrhona is actually a sponsor for the show, and they are sponsoring our design this year. And also wanted to take the opportunity to invite everybody to come and join us on Sunday. I believe we're having a demo at 10:15. 10:15, we're going to be doing a show and tell, and we're going to be sharing some of our tricks and techniques on how we make the dress, and also how you can make your own molds at home without having to break the bank. So it's going to be very exciting. I hope you guys can join us Sunday at 10:15. Don't forget to come see us.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add, a lot of people, when we post these dresses online, they tend to kind of like go like, what a waste of food.
Oh, yeah.
That's a waste of chocolate. Like, you could have done something better.
We don't.
But in all honesty, a lot of the products that we use are products that you can't really eat because they've been expired, for example, and we just find another use. And for example, we've done charity events, and where, the tickets are sold very expensive. And for us to be able to participate in those, by reusing certain things, like, for example, if you can't eat the chocolate because it's expired, then
It's about to
we
expire.
can use it
Yeah.
for the dress, and it serves a good purpose. So, it's nice to be able to find other ways to reuse, things that you won't be able to sell or
Yeah.
consume.
And this year, our design is actually coming back to town. Hopefully praying that it comes back to town in one piece to work with, so that it could be, on display for everybody to see. But as Carolina mentioned, we usually, when we do ask for products from vendors, the first thing that we ask is, do you have any products that have already, expired or are about to expire that you can sell? That's the first thing that we take.
And we're definitely going to be hitting Mona and Santiago after we do that delivery.
Yes.
Because
Wait for us,
we're gonna need it to, after our
We
nervous
need that boost.
breakdown.
And we'll get your veggies in.
Yeah, just a quick interjection here for people is that the French Culinary Institute is now the Institute of Culinary Education, or the International Culinary Institute. And people may not know that Jacques Therese, who is the head of pastry and baking at the French Culinary Institute, I believe Laura was at the first Salon du Chocolat in New York City back in 1998. His connection is there. I know that Jacques was present last year. I know that the Jacques Therese is going to be exhibiting this year at the festival. So there is this through line of connection. And I'm going, what if the French Culinary Institute, Institute of Culinary Education, and FIT, which are not all that far away from each other in Manhattan, if they got together and had a class, right? This might be what you would experience. You might want to go, how do they do that? And you can go and make that happen. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity to take these, chocolate couture and mash them together in a good way, without melting down all over every place, which is hopefully it's not going to be as warm this year as it was last year. And with that, Laura, I know that you wanted to say something. So are you going to dial into Charles now and say something? So why don't I let you do that, and I'll bring you up on to the stage.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Clay. I actually wanted to echo a lot of what you just said. My essentially 28 years on and off with experience with Salon du Chocolat and all of its iterations, I'm really excited to be a part of this year's Salon du Chocolat New York, which is going to be, very much a New York kind of event, an American kind of event. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it with so many talented people across the spectrum of the ways to be involved with this industry, from the education to the fun of the fashion and the whimsy of some of these, bonbons and tastings and sculpture. So it's going to be a great show. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to be a part of it again this year.
thank you very much. And I got to say, I'm going to be sad to miss it this year. I mean, I was there for the first one, and I was there at every one through 2012. People may not know the history, Hurricane Sandy. So I was there every year. And when it came back in 2019, as I was part of it as well, and then last year. So it's been, very, very much a pleasure and a privilege to be a part of the history of this event, and to see its successful return to Manhattan. Of course, but the only other one I've been to in Paris and Lima. I've been to the Salon del Chocolat Chocolate, right, in Lima, 4 times. And I love Lima. I love Peru. And for people for whereabouts in Peru?
I'm from Lima, from the capital.
From Lima.
Lima.
Some of the best food. Oh my gosh. But I have to say I like Peruvian ceviche over Ecuadorian ceviche. Right? And just in case, in case anybody wants to weigh in on that battle, to go.
I'm Ecuadorian.
You are Ecuadorian.
So now you're in a little bit of a pickle there. But
Brazil here as well. Okay.
Okay. So I can say one of my favorite breads in the world. I love me a good real pão de queijo, as opposed to pan de yuca, right, which is Ecuadorian. But I can tell you, Santiago, I was in Naranjal, not Naranjal. I was in Naranjal 2003, 2005. Right. And it was the first time I ever had a smoothie, which was 100% frozen cacao pulp. And it was one of the culinary experiences of my lifetime. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. And that with a freshly baked pan de yuca, even though a pão de queijo, which is a different cheese, right? We'll get it. But there's a lot of great food in Ecuador, and I really had a wonderful time. I was there last in 2022 in Guayas, but I was also in Quito and Puerto Quito. So I have a little bit of history of traveling around the country. And, if you've never been there, one of the great things about cocoa and chocolate is not only does the field attract really nice people. I mean, you need to be a real miserable SOB to be miserable around chocolate. Some people manage it. Right. But for the most part, it's just really fabulous people. They've got their nose in chocolate. They've got their hands in chocolate. It makes them feel good. And what they want to do is they want to share that feeling with other people. They want to make things that make other people feel good. And that's one of the reasons why I'm just really happy. Like, I don't make chocolate. I write about it. I talk to people about it. And to be welcomed into a community of such accomplished people who have done so many wonderful things over so many decades is just really, really fabulous. I mean, and I feel, again, honored and privileged, and to have had the opportunity to travel to Brazil, to travel to Ecuador, to travel to Peru. Haven't been to Sweden. The closest I've been is Finland and Denmark. Sorry about that, but one day to Sweden, perhaps. I was in New Hampshire a little while ago. That's where Mona is. New York City. My daughter lives in Pennsylvania, so I was in Pittsburgh recently as well. Oh, and that's just her, by the way. That noise you heard was my daughter texting me. And so before we end up, I want to say thank you, Hakan. Thank you, Mona, Santiago, Vanessa, and Carolina, Laura, Charles. Anything anybody else wants to say before we give Viviane the last word today?
Thank you, Clay.
Well, thank you for taking the time, and thanks for being patient with all the technical craziness. Viviane, you're going to get the last word before I sign off. So what do you want to let people know about this today?
No, sounds good. Just to pick back about all your trips around the world, just wanted to say that coming to the Salon du Chocolat, you definitely have a chance to experience chocolate from all over the world. We have Japan, Italy, Ecuador, Belgium, Sweden, France. I don't want to forget anybody, but but not only the taste as well as the history behind it. So it's a great place to come and experience that. I also wanted to thank you, Clay, for this time at the podcast and to always support Salon du Chocolat New York. And I wanted to just say thank you to all our sponsors, including the Chocolate Life, New York Post, PMCA, Fine Chocolate Industry Association, so FCIA, is Hawaii Cacao Association, Diamond Custom Machines, Chef Rubber, Ojica Castle, and Nestle Water with Maison Perrier and Aquapon and San Pellegrino. So thank you very much for making, and everybody that's working very hard to make this show happen. Thank you for all the exhibitors, and I'm really looking to see everyone there this Saturday and Sunday.
It would be great. Unfortunately, I am not going to be there. So
We'll miss you, Clay.
Yeah, so Laura makes a great point. When we think about the history of America and what it stands for, many people, perhaps a little bit less so in the current political climate, but let's not go there, is that America is a melting pot and chocolate melts. And what we have is an opportunity here at the Salon in New York City to have all these cultures come together in one place over a common idea, chocolate. And there's an opportunity to experience. Laura, thank you very much for pointing that out to me. Before we leave, I do want to mention something to everybody. This is the post for today's episode on The Chocolate Life. You can go there. And I just noticed that for some reason this feed didn't get to Facebook. But what you can do is you can go to YouTube and you can go to LinkedIn. There'll be an archive, so you'll be able to follow this on. There is a link to purchase tickets, and you can visit the homepage of the Salon du Chocolat. But you've also got the names of people who participated in today's episode. One of the things I did not do, but I will do, is I will put links to websites after this episode and update this so that if you want to get in touch with any particular company, you'll have a link to a website for them. Laura, I couldn't find yours. Charles, I don't know if you want this to be the Penn College. You can email me afterwards and let me know, but otherwise I think I can link to everybody's website directly. And with that, what I want to do is remind everybody, all right, and I hope it was obvious during the course of today's episode, that if you're working with chocolate and you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Until the next time, everybody, thank you very much for joining us today, and enjoy the Salon du Chocolat this upcoming weekend in New York City. Ciao, everyone.
Ciao.